In advance of installing your Goalsetter anchor, always call 811 or one call to have all utilities located. The standard is to not dig within 18 inches of any identified utility.
After your installation site is marked for utilities, it's time to gather your tools and materials. You'll need a way to dig the hole for the ground anchor. You can choose a power auger like we're using in this video, or you can use hand tools to dig, or a combination of the two. You'll need tools for measuring and leveling, for mixing and pouring the cement, and for installing and tightening the nuts and bolts. Consult your written installation guide for a full list of tools and materials you'll need. One of the first things you'll want to do is locate and unpack your exclusive Goalsetter ground anchor.
When considering your location for your Goalsetter anchor, remember the 16 to 18 inch diameter hole will have the anchor set back approximately 6 inches from the front of the hole. In advance of picking the final location for your Goalsetter goal, take in consideration the surroundings, the buildings, the driveway, how you want it to look as you approach your home. Take in consideration how far your backboard will stick out, extend past the Goalsetter goal. You may or may not want that to stick into your driveway. The homeowner in this case has chosen to have the backboard parallel to one of the outbuildings, but not necessarily parallel to the edge of this concrete. Those are all personal choices, and there are no right or wrong answers. The Goalsetter anchor requires a 16 to 18 inch diameter hole, 48 inches deep.
When the basic anchor hole has been dug, use hand tools to bring it to its final finished depth of 48 inches. Use hand tools to round out the finished diameter to 16 to 18 inches.
Using a wheelbarrow, mix your concrete and water solution to the manufacturer's specifications. Do not mix the concrete in the hole. It will take 10 to 14 bags to properly install your Goalsetter system.
Now you can install your ground anchor into the cement. You want the anchor to have 1 to 3 inches of clearance. Carefully check to make sure the ground anchor is level in both directions and reposition as necessary. When you've finished positioning, use a trowel to smooth the concrete and to slope it away from the anchor post in all directions.
So let's review. We have a complete Goalsetter anchor installation here. We started with a 16 to 18 inch diameter hole by 48 inches deep. There is 6 inches of concrete in front of the anchor. We have 1 to 3 inches of clearance underneath the anchor. The decal on top properly indicates that we have the front of the anchor towards the playing surface. The alignment of the anchor has taken in consideration how we want the goal to be presented in the driveway. The concrete slopes away from the anchor, preventing debris and water. There are no shortcuts to a proper Goalsetter install. Your hard work is done. Within 48 hours from now, the goal will be able to be installed, and you'll begin your lifetime worth of memories and family fun with the Goalsetter system. Before the installation of the pole, we have removed all 5 plastic plugs. We have the installation clip ready, 5 installation bolts, and the hinge pin is within hand's reach. To protect the pole finish, place the square packaging pad on the playing surface at the bottom of the pole. Align the pole hinge with the anchor plate hinge and insert the hinge bolt and tighten the hex nut. Lift the pole to approximately 30 degrees and attach the installation clip to the ground anchor and pole. The Goalsetter installation clip will hold the pole in the proper position for the next assembly steps. Goalsetter's unique design requires no ladders or scaffolding for assembly. You'll notice the jack assembly comes from the factory installed inside the pole. Pull out the jack assembly slightly, remove the packaging and protective materials from the end of the jack, and reposition the jack into the pole so that the connection pin for the jack handle is visible in the lower half of the pole opening. When you see the jack handle connection pin in its position, you'll know the jack assembly is properly seated. The bottom extension arm can be identified by the jack mounting and also best in the basketball on the side.
The lower arm is the first one to attach. Use an extension arm bolt and lock nut with a washer on each side. Once the lower arm is attached to the pole, use a shorter bolt to also connect the lower arm to the jack. Be sure to use the proper amount of pressure when tightening the bolts.
This is a pivot point for the height adjustment of the goal. It should be snugged up, but not over-tightened that would prevent movement.
Now you can remove the protective packing materials from the upper arm and attach it to the pole in the same way, with bolt, washers, and lock nut. Time to install the backboard. Position the box so the lid of the box opens and folds away from the goal. Then, with the backboard still in that protective box, slide it under the arms with the rim mounting plate facing towards the goal system. It's easy now, using 2 people, to lift the lower edge of the backboard and attach the lower arm first. Use a backboard bolt on each side, 2 washers on each bolt. Position the bolts so the nuts are on the inside of the goal. Remember, this is also a pivot point, so snug tighten the bolts only. Now you can easily attach the upper arms in the same way with the same size hardware, and again, using your wrench, snug tighten only to allow the backboard to pivot on the arm. Remove part of the protective packaging. Pull about the top third of the protective plastic sheeting down to make it easy to reach and remove later on when the goal is in place. But leave the rest of it on the backboard now to protect it during the rest of assembly. Just before raising the goal, you can attach the jack handle that adjusts the height of your goal system.
Allen screws can be left loose for easy removal or tightened up for a more permanent application. This is a unique Goalsetter feature allowing the unit to be nearly completely assembled in this configuration. It is now ready to be stood up and bolted to the anchor.
You'll need at least 2 people to raise the goal assembly. Once you have it lifted and in place, hand tighten the 3 rear anchor bolts first, and then do the same for the 2 front ones. Snug tighten the bolts and check for proper position, and then fully tighten the anchor bolts. The 5 bolts must pass all the way through the ground anchor plate. Before attaching the rim, you must make sure that the 4 factory-installed bushings are still in place. Without those bushings, your backboard could crack or shatter. With the bushings in place, install backboard bolts with 2 flat washers each and 1 lock washer and a nut. Now you can hang the rim on the bolts. After leveling the hoop, snug tighten the nuts and install the net. Turn the jack handle until the rim is 6 feet above the playing surface. Locate the 6-foot decal and attach it to the goal by reaching through the hole in the side of the goal and placing it in the center. Adjust the goal height to the next level and repeat the steps for each of the remaining height decals. Install the plastic grommet and attach the up-down decal above the crank handle hole. It's time to congratulate yourself. You've just finished installing your new Goalsetter system. For maintenance, apply a general-purpose lubricating oil like 3-in-1 twice a year to the clearly labeled area where the jack connects to the lower arm.
Maintaining your Goalsetter system is easy. Every spring and fall, inspect all nuts and bolts, tighten if necessary. Check all parts for wear and tear and replace if needed. Check everywhere for rust or chipped and cracked paint, and repair with touch-up paint that's included in your hoop. If you ever need more, just get in touch with us, Goalsetter Systems. So there is a complete Goalsetter Systems installation, proudly made in the United States of America just for you. Thanks for choosing Goalsetter.
It's time to play. We'll always have parts and accessories for any of the Goalsetter systems you own. The next time you need us, we're just a telephone call or a computer click away. Just one of the reasons why Goalsetter is the best in basketball.